So we were just doing. Oh, my name is Renee.
I'm Tina. Welcome to the safe
Should we
place.
start again?
No, we'll continue.
Renee, Tina, safe place. Subscribe.
Like
So we were just talking about.
relationships, and so we've both had issues with friendships and not being consistent.
And a lot of people write to me
Do they?
and say, or not write to me. Oh, sorry. I see it on the XJW community. Relationships are a massive XJW, ex-Jehovah's Witness community, because I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness. They write a lot about how they have trouble once they leave. How difficult it is to make and maintain relationships and friends and things like that.
Yeah, I think so speaking from an abused child perspective and moving into adulthood, as an abused child you feel a lot of shame, and that attacks your sense of self-worth, and I think that's the driving force for friendships and relationships, and I'm speaking generally, but I'm basing it on my own experience really, and from the experiences I've heard from other people as well. So there's somewhat informed generalisations, both of ours. But so for me it was always self-worth. I even as recently as this week, I need to make some changes to my business, and that involves disappointing some people, and having those conversations with people yesterday terrified me. And I was so scared they were going to say, we don't like you anymore and we don't want you anyway. So, and that, like, I've done a lot of work and I usually feel quite confident. And I was able to say to myself, oh, Tina, you're being an idiot, just let that go. It's going to be fine. And 20 seconds of courage got through the conversations. But it's still that residual stuff that impacts. Do you still find that there's residual?
Yeah, so for me, the impact of trauma with relationships has been that I mentioned it in the last video, that I always dump people, or I find fault with others, so I have an excuse to get rid of them, or I've left a lot of workplaces with the excuse of the boss is nasty and I can't cope anymore and I have to leave, when really all along it was my insecurities.
Do you mind if I interrupt? Because I just had a thought while you were saying that. For me, I haven't changed workplaces. I've stayed in workplaces that have been unhealthy because I was treated badly, and that reinforced the narrative I told about myself. Isn't that interesting? Sorry, keep going with what you were saying.
Well, I was just going to mention too that ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have a lot of trouble making new friendships and maintaining those, because they've had the traumatic experience of losing their whole community.
But do you think that's also to do with the fact that when you're a JW, there's that you're told all of the time to be wary of worldly people, that worldly people are no good. So when you leave the JWs and you become an apostate, for want of a better thing, all of a sudden you're faced with having to meet these worldly people, and they're your only choices of friends because you've been excommunicated.
Well, that's a number one, of course, sorry. And I'm laughing because you're not even an ex-JW and you've got all the lingo down pat just from knowing me. Well done, Tina.
And reading a book.
And reading my book, which isn't published yet.
5 million times.
So what the heck was my point?
So I don't know, but it's that inability to make friends you were saying, but I think that's because of all of the programming.
The programming, yes, that's step one. But even when people go, okay, now I'm going to have to trust worldly people because that's all I've got left, even then it's hard, because with me, I just really want to be accepted. Because you've been thrown out of a community, you just really I felt so alone and so lonely, and you want to be accepted, and you don't want to be judged. And I think that's why for 19 years I never told anybody I was an ex-JW.
But do you think that judgment fear also comes because of Judgment Day? And you were always told that with Armageddon coming, you would be safe as a JW, but then when you leave, all of a sudden you haven't got that safety network of the congregation behind you, and so it makes it harder.
Well, yes, no.
No? You don't reckon?
Maybe for some people, but for me.
Question.
For me, it was just the shame. I was so embarrassed to have been a JW, because they are... Until now, maybe people are starting to work out that they're quite toxic. But before that, people used to go, oh, they're just harmless. lovely people who knock on doors. Really, apart from not celebrating birthdays and Christmas, they're a bit quirky. But now that it's coming out that they're quite a dangerous group and they really muck people's lives around, now I can see the impact it's had on me being able to form relationships, because I really need that acceptance and love. And I was too ashamed to admit that I'd come from that group that's quirky and embarrassing.
So you're almost, and to have those strong relationships or friendships, you would need to, I guess, acknowledge that. There'd always be that fear, wouldn't there?
Yeah, so I wonder even now whether because I'm not really truthful with people at work. They have no idea. I'm still hiding it from people.
Teaches in a Catholic school. It's fair
I wasn't going to mention that.
She didn't teach anywhere.
I taught at a public school for a very long time.
She did.
I've just joined the Catholic. Thanks for letting me know.
I think
I'm not going to go there because I still work
that's all right.
there.
Yeah, no,
I'm not going to make comment.
So why do you keep talking about it? Anyway, because I was trying to deflect, we're going to leave this video at this moment because we're heading up to 6 minutes over it now. Please subscribe, and we'll probably continue this conversation because it seems to be a meaty one.
Hang on before you go. Sorry.
Make it quick.
Relationships. Today's topic was relationships are tricky because it's an impact of trauma.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.